Good morning. Today I want to talk about combinations that you should be more careful what kind of combinations you want to learn, or if you're a coach, what would you teach. So I would give you my mindset that how we see those things and why I think we should be more critical about it. Anyway, let's start about knee slide. So usually what you see, there is a good stuff also, but I will show you extreme kind of what you see in YouTube a lot, where people are also teaching here, like a knee slide, and then they tell that they get cross face, underhook, and now they slide, and now they're inside. So side control. So it kind of looks decent, but again, I give you today I think four examples that where I can show you those combinations are like, lacking certain things. So this is one of them, because it looks very good, but when you start to do it against really an opponent who's knowledgeable about defense, this kind of sequence will never, will never work. Yeah, take it in the right context. So if they put already a knee on the mat, probably if I don't know anything, maybe I do something, but there's access to this. If I know something, I would just, this is the first thing I block. I'm not giving you underhook. And then after that, I don't care. If you get underhook and a head on a mat, and then I'm probably stuck, but then, baby bridge is coming and I make more space. But basically, I will not give you underhook. So how you would train this knee slide thing would be, let's say, with the floating stuff, you float around typically, and now the underhook happens and right away there's a knee slide. And so right away the space is occupied, and it happens like a punch, like nobody goes like step in, like a boxing, yeah? Step in, raise the arm, and now punch in the face. Everything happens kind of in the same time. They're jumping in and punching, and already they're out. So like a judo throw, some small setup, but everything is quick. There's no like 1, 2, 3, grip, 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 and now I throw. So I find jiu-jitsu is a lot of times taught like this. So, and in reality, you always see that in reality, in a sparring match, the technique works differently. So my argument is we should actually train the way we fight, so they will right away apply to the jiu-jitsu match. So then one more thing also, you can do it like in a butterfly guard. So if they go knee slide, they're already here, and it's already happening, underhook and knee slide right away. And now I'm gonna lose also more stuff, yeah? So they're gonna have to, learn how to open me up, kind of here, how to expose this underhook, usually I'm closed, and everything else. So it becomes like a more sport match. Also, I find that why people do those combinations a lot is because jiu-jitsu is taught by technique manner, not like a sport, like a boxing. You just work your jab and work your defense. It's more like technique. It's just complex of techniques. And people find that people get bored, and then you have to have new techniques, new combinations. But you don't see the same thing happening in boxing or wrestling. That let's just create more nonsensical combinations. And no, we're gonna still do the headlock, and we're gonna still do the throw, and you still a jab and cross, and it's taught differently. Jiu-jitsu is a little bit bigger, but then I think we have to know how to actually teach those things. What are the best version of the technique that works against the best defense? And then if this version happens, like somebody's really tired, and the knee slide happens like this, and I'm really like totally tired, and then you get underhook here, and this works too. It's not like a bad thing, but there has to be too much like a different context for it to work. But we have to know that what works definitely when the opponent is fresh and everything else. So another example I would say is let's say a lasso sweep, and then in a YouTube or people teaching or whatever, there's an option of having a bicep slicer in the end, and then usually the technique works like this. So you have this, you fly, and then you have a bicep slicer, or if it slips, you have cross face and underhook. Yeah. So let's just show one more time. Even if the bicep slicer slips, let's say, we fly, bicep slicer flips, and I will never give you underhook and crossface. If I just give you underhook and crossface, everything is kind of messed up. You see it all the time that they're open, and then top guy gets crossface. No, it's not the future you should expect. If I'm decent, you get side control, hip on a mat, put your hip on a mat, close to my hip, and you get like certain like side control like here, and this is the future maybe you should expect. And now we drill, now we spar from this. But you should not expect like a crossface underhook. Or even, let's say, the combination from lasso to bicep slicer could be unrealistic in that sense. And you could wonder, like, where's the last time you saw a lasso sweep ending up in a bicep slicer anyway? But let's say if I end up in a baby bridge, then the bicep slicer is off anyway. So if I do this lasso, and then I do this, even like getting on top is actually very, very hard at the moment. And I can start to fight, but I'm not gonna, bicep slicer is actually off. So this combination of lasso and bicep slicer and end, it's a weird jab cross, because it only, first I made a first mistake, I fell. Yeah, you got the lasso sweep. Because defending lasso sweep is at least 3 steps, early, mid, and late. So I have to do all those mistakes in that sense. And then I have to land totally flat and wait for you to come up for this bicep slicer to win, to work. So I think it's too much. So if you want this to, like, this combination to work, then I would say you have to put this bicep slicer on while I'm falling already and try to finish already while I'm falling to the mat. So it has to be taught differently. It could be a workable technique. But so we have to see those combinations differently. They have to work against the best defense. That's how we learn boxing. What's the best guy's gonna do? And then what combination will tear his defense apart? What's the chances of that happening? And then we work those combinations and work the timing of this. So another one, what we have also is a Kimura trap. Kimura trap, put your hand there. Yes. So Kimura trap, YouTube is full of those things that somebody gets Kimura trap from half guard top, or they jump over the guard, and then I'm gonna sit up. And then the knee goes in, and then they take the back or have an arm bar, and then somebody loses. But it should be like, in some way, everybody should know that already, that, sitting up from Kimura trap would be, if I punch you in the face, then your block is like this, and then I will be very surprised, and then it's like, second time I'm gonna jab cross you, because I know you're gonna do this. So it might work one time, but I will be very surprised if you do it second time, and I will just go jab cross, and this technique is weeded out right away. So everybody knows, let's do it again. Everybody knows that you should not sit up. That's the most dangerous version. But I can maybe, if it's like from the head, and now try to take an armbar, and then I'm pulling the head up, and there's a version of this that when you actually can do it, but not just like that. Because what you should do is, if even they're pushing, so you have a baby bridge, and your elbow is out, you can push this, push armpit, push the hip, and now you fight for top. Yeah, so again, and if you're a Kimura trap guy or want to learn combinations, you have to know that, okay, what's Kimura trap? What is their best answer? What they're trying to do? And now how we counter that. Not like, if they don't know anything, they will sit up and now I have my armbar. You can be good at those things, but what's the value in that? Because the good guy should not do those things, if they really know about something about defense. Yeah? First of all, also, the getting on top always comes with a danger, so if you do it right, it's doable, but if you do it wrong, it's kind of bad choice. What else happens also, let's say, YouTube is again full of those things, and like Turando stuff. So if somebody does Turando and I just turn away, and then I give everything away, and then the back happens, and you see those lock flow combinations. You can in some context argue that lock flows serve a purpose, but it's very dangerous to teach specific lock flows, because the timing can go, or things can change very fast to like different directions in a split second. So why would you teach certain specific ending right away? It's about, I can react different ways. So this kind of lock flows, when you see like 5 things happening and then you have a submission, they're beautiful. And it's kind of like a trap for a beginner. Oh, there's beautiful jiu-jitsu. But it only happens when I make 5, 6 mistakes, major mistakes in a row. So let's say, what would be real expectation after Turando if I sit up? So, and then they do Turando. Maybe I go here. Yeah, my elbow is here, they get the seat belt, they try, and now I'm defending, yeah? And now maybe I sit up, maybe I do something like I turn, but it's not like right away hooks and, chokes and seat belts and everything. That will be like, if they're tired, might happen, yeah? They already like, want to give up or something, they're detail how the fight is going, the details, they don't see them, they're tired, might work. But what happens if the good guy turns away? Let's say if Eduardo Telles turns away, you do a tornado. What should you expect? What they should do and how to beat that with timing and resistance and sport by pushing, pulling and jab cross game. So what is the real thing? What is the real combination you should work on? So this video was all about those things. Because I'm emphasizing that Jiu-Jitsu should be more simple. There's no like endless combination that we have to teach. I think we have to pull it more back, and we can teach it more fun, recreational way also, like teaching a sport. So, but if you only teach it by technique, because people get bored of doing the same armbar, then I would say something's wrong with the methodology of the gym. Because if you do it with the resistance and add, progressive resistance, you can teach the armbar like 10 years, and it's always interesting. But if you just treat techniques and then you spar, then you always have to create those new crazy techniques. And that's just, people have to learn, and usually that's why you hear people also say like, it's so hard, it's so many techniques, and they don't have time to train that, and new combinations again. But in other sports, we don't see those things. So I think in Jiu-Jitsu, we have to be more critical of what we're teaching, more sports, more good methodologies that support the sport kind of way, and we still have fun. We don't need those endless, crazy combinations. And definitely we have to look with a critical eye the old combinations. But are they good? And make them better, or use the one that actually it's the best one that works against the best guys, and use that more and learn to do it. So I hope, again, I made you question some things, and we'll see. And definitely feedback, you can comment and stuff, and we'll see the next one.